Hello. First of all, hope everyone's doing great. The Sonny Perkins video was incredible. Thank you everyone who watched that and liked it. I really appreciate it. So I thought I'd do another one and move on to Darko JB, who is an exciting young talent. Leeds United have just signed from Manchester City. He's an England under-18 international and a very highly rated young player. So enjoyed the other video. You know, again, similar with Sonny, there's not too much information on him, but there's a little article by Phil which talks about his kind of background and who he is as a person. It's really wholesome, so I really want to get into that, just so you guys, you know, get to know our new signing a little bit more and how he's going to fit in at Ellen Road. Let's get into it. So yeah, we'll start off with transfer marked, the reliable. So yeah, he's 18 years old, central midfielder. Can play in attacking midfield, defensive midfield, central midfield. Anywhere central, basically, is a unit in there. But an elegant unit. I know, you can't be both. You can, if you're this guy. You know, he's 6'4", very big guy, but also very elegant on the ball. If you've watched him, he just flies with it. He flows. Yeah, so let's look at his stats real quick. Under 18s Premier League, 22 appearances, 9 goals, 2 assists. Premier League 2, 11 appearances, 1 goal, 3 assists. He's a central midfielder, so obviously he's not going to have 30 goals, etc. Yeah, that's a little bit about the player, his profile. Like I said, there's not too much on it. You know, in terms of, we can look here on achievements. He's won the England Under-21s Premier League champions, who he won against Leeds at Ellen Road. Good game, by the way. And the Under-18s youth winner as well. A little bit of achievements. This one goes into more detail here about his achievements. So obviously his country of birth is England, but I'm not sure about that. We'll get into that. But yeah, as you see, he was at Manchester City Under-18s. He's played for England Under-16s, 17s, and 18s. Gone through all the City youth. He also played for, I believe it was, yeah, as you can see, I think it's down here somewhere. He played for Millwall B team when he was really young as well, which is where City bought him for 300k back when he was really young, 14, which is incredible. Shows the calibre of the player, doesn't it? You can see all his other winnings there. You know, Youth Cups, FA Youth Cups, Under-18s and 21 championships. Yeah. The guy's won a lot for a young guy. Obviously, being at Manchester City, you're going to, but it's creditable, you know, and he plays a lot of that as well. He had a big role in most of it, so good to see. But yeah, now we're going to get into the meat, the interesting, the wholesome part of the video, talking about this man here, or this boy, and just how, you'll see. I'll let you make your own opinions. Let's go up. So, just to clarify as well, while I scroll, I did already make this video, however, there was noise outside and it was picking up, and so I'm redoing it, but let's do it again. So, Phil here, the GOAT, shout out to you. This is his article from The Athletic. Leeds sign Darko JB, and it is JB, because in an interview he said it's JB, just to clarify. After tracking him for 18 months and a Spanish chat with Horta. Interesting. So we'll get into the article now. So, at Athenley, I'm dyslexic, excuse me if I can't speak, primary school in South East London, in England, a youth shirt belonging to Darko JB is framed and hung on the wall. There is a photo of him by reception 2 playing for Manchester City. Oh, that's brilliant. So, it's primary school. There's a picture of it. There's a shirt of him, his England youth shirt, hanging up, and a picture of him playing for City. That's just wholesome, isn't it? I told you this video was going to be wholesome. That's brilliant, yeah. That's really cool. So this is where, I don't know where he was born. So the school he joined after arriving from Ghana with his mother, his elder brother. So and everything else it says he's born in England, but Phil says school after arriving from Ghana with his mother and brother. So I'm guessing he was born in Ghana and moved to the UK at a young age. I'm not sure, but someone let me know if you know. And so what he did was, basically, I'll go through the article. Before he had his medical at Leeds, he went to his old primary school, say hi or bye to all the teachers and stuff like that, which is just really down to earth and humble, isn't it? Like if players doing that, it shows their humility and their human side, and it's really nice. It's just nice to see. And I'll be honest, this video is gonna be very wholesome. So, because I just want to talk about this real quick. So when he joined Leeds, with Phillips going one way and him plus 5 million, well, 5 million for him, there was a lot of negativity around that. Not like aimed at the player, more just reluctant to be like, oh, who's this? We've just signed this guy, or we've got this guy. But as you'll see in the article, the club wanted this guy. There's other targets, but the club wanted him. And I'll let the article say this because it gets into it. But it's something to just bear in mind when we sign a player. We're signing a player now. We're at a day and age where obviously Orta has his Orta signings, but this is very much a Leeds player, a Leeds signing. Orta and Jesse wanted him, and we'll see. We'll go into it. Yeah, so Steve Owen was a sports coach and a football scout who worked at the school, and he said within a few weeks, you could tell after watching him, within a few weeks, he knew had something about him, and he had to get him to a club straight away within a few weeks. It's the eye test, isn't it? We love stats and all that stuff, but the eye test, even in analysis, is vital. People think analysis is all about stats. It isn't. From the thing I do, a lot of it is watching. You watch hours and hours of football, trying to find ways that a player could improve. The stats back that up, but the eye test is very important. And this guy, a scout, early on saw the eye test, saw this guy and thought, yeah, he's the one. And there's a little story here about how, like, I know it's a cliche that, oh, I love football, but this is just nice. Like I said, this video is very wholesome, so it was very incredible to drag off the grass, concrete or astroturf. He trained before everyone else, he went home after everyone else. All he wanted to be was a professional footballer, and no one else around him could picture anything else other than him being a professional footballer. That's really cool. It reminds me of when I think a lot of us watching when we were young and all we wanted to do was play football. It's nice to see a guy like that, achieving his goals, and he seems very grateful for it, and he seems very happy. So that's awesome. Yeah, those days at Career Wanderers, you'd basically be turning the lights off, and he'd be saying 5 more shots, 5 more shots. Eventually, you'd say, Darko, we need to go home. We've got places to be. Yeah, it's that real story, isn't it? That he just wants to play football. There's one here who used to climb over the fence at Millwall, and the groundsman would see him and he'd be like, what are you doing? And then he'd realise it was Darko, and he'd just leave him to it because he knew it was, and that's what he did every day. He wanted to train, he wanted to get better, he wanted to improve. And that's the theme of these young players that we get. They want to improve, they want to play for this club, they want to play football in the Premier League. And it shows that winning mentality, that never give up mentality, that adversity mentality that they've all seemed to have. It's good to see. It's gonna really push the young kids up. You see the signing Sonny Perkins and this guy. The young guys are gonna think, I want to be that person, so they're gonna push up too, hopefully. Yeah. So that's that about him and his mentality growing up. Now let's talk about why Leeds signed this guy. Why this guy? Why not Romeo Lavia or McAtee? So, Leeds regularly keep an eye on City's academy players because, quite simply, talent at City's academy is very good. Recently, they paid attention to Romeo Lavia, now head of Southampton, and James McAtee. But when City began mobilising to take Phillips from Ellen Road last month, it was JB who Leeds United asked to move in the opposite direction. And that is big. So, Romeo Lavia, McAtee, Leeds looks at, but the club, all of the club, the recruitment team, Jesse Marsh, who says it in a minute, wanted him. So when you get a lot of people, and it's opinions, isn't it? But when you get all these people saying, oh, we could have got this guy, Romeo Lavia is a better player, and all that, James McAtee, like, yeah, maybe, but then maybe not. The club wanted him, and they clearly see his fit in this system. They clearly see him as the better option in this system. They obviously like his mentality, his upbringing, you know, his story, his drive, and the way he plays. They obviously really, really like that, which is very important in a system-based team, you know, like a system like ours as well. You know, we saw him against Brisbane Roar. You can see straight away his attributes. He's calm, collected, you know, pinging balls, passing balls short, driving with it. Just a guy way beyond his years, I think it's fair to say. He's only 18 and he's playing with such panache kind of thing. You know, nothing bothered him. Again, it is against Brisbane Roar, but as a young guy, in front of a crowd that is probably, apart from the Ellen Road one where he came on and ripped it up, by the way, you know, he's clearly got it, and Leeds really like that, and they chose him. So when people just dismiss him because of the way it was done over the Calvin Phillips thing, you know, it was all together, wasn't it? When people dismiss him and go, 5 million, that's a lot for an unproven player. Yeah, but you might not be saying that in 3 or 4 years. You might be saying, wow, we paid 5 million for this guy. You know, youth players are a lot of money these days. And I genuinely think he's the type of player that Leeds need. And I really, really like his attitude. He's quiet, he gets on with it, he's not flashy. You know, he's very, from his Instagram, he's very religious as well, which, you know, means nothing in football, but for him personally, it means a lot. You know, it gives him that belief, that faith that he will succeed, and that's really good for him. You know, he seems like a really good young guy. Yeah, we'll get into that. Right, let's go next part. So a little bit about him is again here. So JB and his brother Junior, studying in Northampton University, were grounded boys who did well at school. JB did A-levels in Spanish and English literature. Wow, I can't even speak English, mate. That's incredible. And was able to speak Spanish during his negotiations with Leeds director Victor. Come on, that's awesome, isn't it? I actually had one of them coaching a little bit when they were at Cray, Owen says. I'd pay them £10 each to help with the younger groups, a bit of pocket money for them, for refereeing games and things like that. The first time they got paid, I said to them, go buy your mum some flowers. I was only joking, but they actually did that. That's just awesome. Wow. Yeah. Again, just testament to the guy and his attitude. You know, forget about the football for a minute. It's about the people, isn't it? That's what football is. It's people. Personalities. Your personality shows on the pitch. He's got drive, he's got passion, and he's a nice guy. You know, and he'll do everything for the club, and I like that. You know, we do this for our families, right? That's what we say. You do this, you win the money, you're successful. And it's always your family that's there with you. So that's a nice little story. And this is a picture of Steve Owen, the coach I mentioned earlier. I spoke to him after he'd been up in Manchester for a little while, and he told me he was sleeping all the time. He was hard, but in a way he liked, right? For 2 months, I don't think he went out at all. So he stayed in, focused on football. Yeah, he got his head down and put everything into his football to make sure he settled in. I knew he'd be fine there. He's level-headed. He's got all the talent. A little star from the start. He's clearly well thought of. And he is. You know, he speak to a lot of people around him. They all say the same things about him. You know, someone quoted that if you made a number 8 in a machine, he'd be it. He's got all the attributes. He'd be the attributes you'd use. And you can see that at such a young age when you watch him as well. Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him personally. Yeah, and as we said, no, that's him now. Well, that was him a few weeks ago. Well, months ago. Yeah. He won the league with City last year on the 23s. And he came on for Leeds, for Manchester City against Leeds and tore it up in 20 minutes. Watch it. It was incredible. Yeah, this is the little interesting bit at the end. So Jesse March, Leeds head coach, was in the crowd that night at Ellen Road when he played. Sources close to JB say that outing cemented the move. So Jesse saw him in that game for 20 minutes. Obviously, he'd done prior research, but he saw him for 20 minutes in that game and thought, I want him. That shows that Jesse really likes him as well as the club, and he wanted him. It's his player, and he's really happy with it. He didn't want Levy, he didn't want McAtee as much as this guy. He wanted this guy, and we've got to trust in him. You know, don't like undermine him just because of, you know, he was kind of a swap with Phillips. Forget that. As an individual, as a player, he's a very highly talented player. 5 million is a lot of money. I've said this. Yeah, obviously he's not made a first team appearance, for God's sake. But give him a chance. Stop talking about the fee. You know what I mean? Give the guy a chance and let's see what he can do in the Premier League. It might not work for him. And then I'll put my hands up and say, all right, fair enough. But I think there's a strong possibility it will. And I believe in his mentality. I think it will work for him. I think he's got the right mentality to succeed in football. That's basically it. I just want to end on this last quote here because it just sums him up. He was getting ready to go up for his medical. He wasn't getting ahead of himself. He wasn't going on about the first team, more the under-23s, and how good it would be to play for them. So he was just happy, and he was ready to play for the 23s and prove himself. And I never mentioned money. He never mentioned money to me. Not once. It wasn't in his head. Those days when I give him and his brother a tenner, they were happy with that. I'd love a tenner. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. Give me a tenner any day of the week. Like I play football for Leeds for a tenner, honestly. Yeah. But anyway, that's it. You know, like I said, there's not too much stats on him. It's all opinions at this point, and this is just mine. And he's kind of the way he brought up is kind of, I don't say similar to a lot of young players, but you know, adversity, you know, having to work hard to get where they are, that kind of thing. Humble, and it's good to have a player like that at the club, and I can't wait to see him. I don't think he's going to have the biggest role this season, but with a few injuries, he could break through. You never know. But in the next 3 or 4 years, I think hopefully we'll see an established central midfielder, and hopefully we'll see him fight for the national team, whether that be Ghana or England in the future. And I can't wait to see him grow. Him and Perkins both. I think they're both incredible young signings. They're really going to bolster ahead the under 23s. I look forward to seeing them break through. But that's it. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. If you didn't, you have to, but I'd appreciate it if you did. That's it. Yeah, I'm gonna do some more. I like these. I enjoy these. You know, I'm gonna do some more established players like Rocker. I really want to do a Rocker one because he's very interesting. Sinistera, Adams, Aronson, Christensen, some coaches maybe. So yeah, if you just let me know in the comments, anyone who wants any of them, let me know which ones you want, and I'll get on it. But yeah, I hope you like this, and peace.